A lot of people ask if it's better to train fasted. The idea sounds appealing. Wake up, skip breakfast, hit your workout, and maybe even burn more fat. But what's really happening when you train on an empty stomach, and how does it affect your performance, recovery, and results? I'm Justin from CBG. We help everyday people fuel smarter, train harder, and get results without obsessing over tracking macros. Today we're breaking down 5 things you need to know about training without food, plus how to fuel smart if you do early sessions. 1. What fasted training really means. When you go to bed, your body doesn't just shut off. It runs on glycogen, stored carbohydrate in your muscles and liver, to keep blood sugar stable overnight. By the time you wake up, a big portion of that tank is already gone. So when you roll into the gym fasted, you're not starting with a full battery. You're starting the session partly depleted. Think of it like driving with the fuel light already on. It'll get you moving, but don't expect to hit top speed for long. And because glycogen is your body's go-to fuel for intense work, this shift changes not just what fuel you burn, but how well you perform. 2. The fat burning myth. The most common reason people train fasted is the idea it burns more fat. And technically it does. Your body uses a higher percentage of fat for fuel when you haven't eaten. But here's the catch, percentage isn't the same as total. Picture 2 workouts. A 30-minute jog fasted burns 200 calories, 60% from fat equals 120 calories of fat. A 40-minute fueled interval session burns 400 calories, 40% from fat equals 160 calories of fat. The fueled session still burns more fat overall because you can push harder and last longer. So while fasted training sounds like a fat-burning hack, the reality is the bigger picture: how much you can train, how much muscle you keep, and your total energy balance over time. 3. The muscle breakdown risk. Here's the part most people don't think about. After 8 to 10 hours without food, your blood levels of amino acids are low. That means when the session gets tough, your body may start pulling protein from muscle tissue to create energy, a process called gluconeogenesis. Over time, this can blunt muscle growth or even cause muscle loss if you're lifting heavy and always training fasted. That doesn't mean you need a massive meal before the gym. Even something small, a scoop of whey, a cup of yogurt, or a couple of boiled eggs, is enough to flip the switch and protect muscle. The key is breaking the fast with some protein before you start. 4. Performance trade-offs. Performance is where the real difference shows up. Carbs don't just give you energy, they're what allow your body to hit high intensity, keep focus, and push through fatigue. In a fasted state, light activity feels fine. A walk, some mobility, or easy cardio doesn't ask much of your glycogen stores. But once intensity ramps up, heavy lifting, a tough class, you'll notice the limits fast. People often describe it as running out of gas halfway through or just not being able to push the same numbers. That matters because performance drives progress. The more reps, the more weight, the more intensity you can handle, the better your results over time. And if being fasted consistently lowers your output, you're capping your own progress. 5. Why people try fasted training and why it doesn't hold up. A lot of people train fasted for 3 reasons. They think it burns more fat, they're in a rush in the morning, or they've heard endurance athletes use it for adaptation. The problem is none of those benefits really stack up. The fat-burning angle is mostly a percentage trick, not a meaningful advantage. Rushing into a workout without fuel usually means worse performance and more fatigue later in the day. And for the endurance crowd, those strategies are highly specific and don't apply to the average person training to look and feel better. For almost everyone, training fueled isn't just better, it's smarter, safer, and more sustainable. How to fuel if you train early. If you like morning workouts, you don't need to sit down for a huge breakfast. The goal is something light and quick that gives you both carbs and protein, enough to help performance without sitting heavy. Some options: a banana with peanut butter, a protein shake with milk or water, yogurt with fruit and oats, a slice of toast with cottage cheese. These are simple, take minutes to prep, and make a huge difference in how much you can get out of your session. Then, after training, have a balanced meal to fully replenish. The bottom line: fasted training isn't magic. It can work for light sessions or when your schedule is tight, but if your goal is building strength, muscle, or high-intensity fitness, fueling before you train almost always wins. If you want to learn more, check the link in the description.